Hello everyone, how's it going? In this video, we're going to talk about nanodimension, trading under the ticker symbol Nndm. So if you would like to hear more about my other stock analysis videos, please like, comment, and subscribe, and also check out the links down in the description. These are affiliate links, so if you use their services, I can get a small commission, and every single help absolutely is greatly appreciated. So, with all that being said, let's jump into today's topic, nanodimension. We have covered this stock on multiple occasions before. Sometimes it's because I find this stock to be an interesting topic, and other times it's literally because I have spotted a spike in interest regarding nanodimension. So what I'm trying to say here is that over a fairly long period of time, measured in month, at least not in days. And the reason why I say, month is relatively long term is simply because as far as we are concerned, the retail traders, we must face the fact that at some point we are just a bunch of happy-go-lucky speculators, right? We're willing to YOLO a whole bunch of our economies and life savings on nothingness. And sometimes we win, sometimes we lose. Nanodimension initially felt like one of those stocks. Although when you look more closely, you can tell that this is not a stock that is just based on pure speculation. They have actual products, they have actual projects, they have talented people who work for the brand, and they work so that one day the company can break even. And from certain perspectives, it seems like Nanodimension is a company that is currently on a spending spree, because in 2020, 21, and 22, they have accumulated large amounts of proceeds, probably from the massive uptick in the shares volatility. It has something to do with that, because their liabilities at the same time didn't really increase that much. Of course, it did increase over the past 3 years, especially over 2021 and 2022. With that being said, what does Nanodimension do? Well, they are in the producer, manufacturing, or industrial machinery type of areas. Is this something that is really promising for the future? Actually, yes. They are trying to lead in the fourth industrial evolution, and hopefully they're going to be right in time. Of course, when we're investing, we must ask ourselves, are we investing on the company, or are we investing on people? In this case, the people are more than just the employees or the talents of those who work at Nanodimension. I'm also talking about the people who, the people who are speculators, just like you and me. How many people are willing to risk their own money in order to rush in headfirst and hope for the best? We need to know how many people are willing to do that before we can do this ourselves. And frankly, at the moment, the stock price is probably the loudest answer in that sense. And what do I mean by that is that we like to see that Nanodimension is going to do better. We like to see that Nanodimension is eventually going to come out victorious, right? That it's going to go back to above $10 and whatnot. So far, the interest has been sliding downward. Is it because of the fundamentals? Maybe. I mean, the company is still yielding a net loss, so it certainly doesn't help. But I think that it's also because the current time isn't exactly ripe for wacky investments. The current time is more for everybody put their money into savings account, get 5 or 6%, right? Even if you lend out your cryptocurrencies, you're going to get like 5 to 10%, depending on whether they're volatile or stable coins. If you go into some, I wouldn't say that they are risky assets yet, but like rather large institutions, they are still offering like 5 to 6%. Of course, with the Credit Suisse going belly up, I was going to say going bankrupt, but they were actually absorbed by UBS. So in this case, we have seen that the bondholders are going to take a bath and a haircut. And then the stockholders are actually not going to suffer as much. So even in this kind of environment, yes, on a small tangent, we have to consider whether this model is sustainable. Okay, like when we say that, oh, we want to play safe, is it really safe, right? And the other thing, how long can the Fed keep the tab on high interest rates? Can we really afford a society where the inflation is as high as it is and the unemployment rate could kick up from where it is? I highly doubt that this will ever be the case. And here's the thing. At some point, we must also wonder, where does the inflation really come from? Does it come from an overload of money? Is it because your employer is way too generous and everybody is just spending way too much money? Or is it because of war, oil price and gas prices went through the roof? So in other words, as long as wars don't stop, as long as pipelines don't start to work again, we're going to have that problem, and probably for the years to come. And remember, some people can live like this and they can live very well. Others, not so much. In North America and Western Europe and Australia, and actually, you know what? I'm going to include East Asia this time. People are far less willing and maybe capable of resisting or to prepare for these kinds of difficult times. So because of this, I believe that at some point, there will be a freeze in rates or even decrease in rates. And then it might kickstart another cycle. And this time, Nano would be better prepared to welcome this new wave. They will have more reasons to give to retail traders to push them up, right? This is a much more mature company now compared to 3 years ago. This is a company that actually does stuff. They actually have revenue. Their gross margin may not be as bad as their net income. So all these factors grouped together, along with the fact that either way, in the economy of tomorrow, technology or technological renovations or innovations would matter far more, like far more than like the sales or your quarterly performances. If they can come up with a way to manufacture things more cheaply and more like environmentally friendly, then yes, this is going to have a major impact in the years to come, and I would say even in the decades to come. How high is the probability? I would say not significant, but it's not like marginal. It's not marginal either. There's a real possibility that people will start taking nanodimension seriously in the future. When I say seriously, maybe not like every single institution on the planet are going to come in and to buy Nanodimension. I'm not saying that. But what I'm saying is it's possible that there will be a huge uptick in people like you and me's interest towards Nanodimension. It's possible that at some point, a bunch of people will wake up and be like, hey, you know what? Nanodimension is quite cheap compared to where it was back in 2020. And guess what? Money is now flowing in that direction once again. So I want to buy in, right? In order to prepare for this eventual scenario that I assume, this is an assumption on my part, I assume that we are going towards that direction. And that Nanodimension has proven to the market that they can weather the storm. There will be other challenges ahead, especially when the recession hits in 23 or 24. Like, what's going to happen by then, right? We don't know. But what we can say for sure is that the economy mostly functions on a cycle. Like, it is a cyclic-based machinery. At some point, prosperity will come back. And to the very least, at some point, people will start wondering, are equities good to invest once again? Because at some point, the interest rates are going to come down. And hot money will eventually start to ask themselves, should we take more risks once again? So, based on that assumption, I would recommend you to start buying Nanodimensions now and to stretch that purchasing period over the next couple of years, at least the next 9 months, and to keep your exposure within 5% of the portfolio.